Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yaya the Fangirl. Today we are here on Neerich, my city core island, and today's video is a bit different. I'm going to bring you along with me as I design a corn dog hat. This is something I really wanted to make for the food truck row. Released that video a couple of weeks ago, but I really wanted a corn dog hat. So that's what we're gonna do today. First thing I kind of started to do was kind of trying to pick out a handful of colors. I had done a little mini single test on another pattern, so I kind of knew the colors that I wanted, and then basically, popped over here to get those started. Making the corn dog hat, it really kind of drove home for me how pixel art is obviously very different than traditional art, which I know in theory, I understand that it's different, but it's very interesting to, like, every time I sit down to kind of make a shape, I feel like in pixel art, I'm always reteaching myself, like, oh, that's how that appears, or this is different. So, pixel art's just interesting that way. Also realized that I did not want my two corn dogs to be different sizes. So spent a bit of time counting to make sure I had the same size. Here I'm starting to go back in and add, some just definition to the corn dogs, some gentle shadows. And really I tried not to look at the pixel art itself too much. More often than not, I felt like I kind of put down a couple rows of color and then I'd pause and look over at the hat diagram on the left. I felt like that was a more accurate, depiction of what I was making. I also loved that I remember to add a drop shadow for the stick on the corn dog. Obviously going back in and just adding in some slightly different colors for just color variation, so it's not just a flat tan color. Also kind of had to shift it over a smidge, it wasn't quite centered. I decided to just keep the hat like a white and light gray. I didn't want to have to deal with additional shadow work trying to make the hat look like a plate. So I figured having it look like, the traditional white paper plate that you would see here in the States was good enough. So it's very much just white and then a good handful shades of gray, just to make it so it's not just a flat color. I also did get a little bit obsessed with making sure that the darker gray spots lined up with the edge on the other side. So that's what you see me doing here, is being a little bit nitpicky. It was really interesting. This is my first time actually ever designing a hat, to kind of see the different pieces that went into building it, and also realizing, how far you had to put the pixel art up to see it on the different sides of the pattern. So I thought that was really interesting, at least for me. Yes, decided to go back in and add another drop shadow just to kind of continue the shadow on the same kind of direction as the corn dogs. Just going back and cleaning up all the little edges. And then of course, before it's finalized, you have to save it, but then you also need to put it down and actually look at it. So here I am, taking a pause, just gonna set down the display here on the ground and just kind of look at how it looks. Does need to be spinned. So I love how cute these corn dogs are. They are adorable. I'm really happy, and I did kind of try to kind of angle the camera different ways to see how I liked it. I do feel like it's a little light, this version, just like the shadows. I feel like you can't tell that there's technically 2 corn dogs except for the sticks. So here in a second, I jump back in and make those darker, but overall, I am so happy with how this corn dog hat turned out. All right, let's go back in and add some darker shadows. I think my biggest fear was making the shadows super big and you not being able to wondering which direction the shadow is going, because I know that technically the shadow direction is not going the right way for the time of day that I'm thinking about saving the DA, but I figured if anything, it's just an ambiance kind of shadow. Doesn't have to be a legit shadow. So popping it down again, ignoring the balloon. I was in the flow. I needed to see how the corn dog hat looked in person. Yes. I like that adding a couple additional dark shadow lines really make it kind of pop. You're like, oh yes, there's definitely 2 corn dogs on this plate. It's just so stinking cute. But so let's go pop this down at the food court, and then I'll see you in a moment. All right. So here's the food court row that we did a couple of videos ago, and the Korean corn dog stall. And I left this yellow table here free specifically so I could put down some corn dogs hats if I found them, but I couldn't find any, so I decided to make one. I'm so happy. I mean, it's easy to make me happy, but that just makes me so happy. I'm also gonna go swap out one of the sodas for a corn dog hat as well. I know technically when you're looking through the standee hole from the front, you don't see the corn dogs, but it's kind of following the theme that I've done on the other food trucks as well, same thing with the fish and chips and the taco truck. So at least as you're walking by behind with the natural camera angle, you'll kind of catch a glimpse of it. So I don't hate it. Oh yes, also huge shout out and thank you to Leah. She had found this amazing corn dog code for me to use as my reference. I was thinking about trying to use it in the build, but with using the stalls for the canopy look, I didn't know how to include it, so I just ended up using it as a template to at least kind of size out my corn dogs on my hat. But thank you so much, Leah. You are a rock star. And that is it. Hopefully you liked watching this video, and even if you feel a little intimidated by pixel art, I hope this encourages you to, try out on your own, because I think I made this code design bigger in my head, and it ended up being pretty dang quick and really fun to make, and I'm just really happy with how it turned out. And we are going to call it there for the day. Thank you so much for coming along with me. I hope you get to dabble in your own code designs in the future. But until next time, bye!